Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Mean Machine, Terence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz. Get this. Mean Machine Kavaliauskas has high praise for Virgil Ortiz, and he says he would beat Crawford. Okay. At the age of 34, Mean Machine Kavaliauskas is desperate for one final crack on the world stage. Having sat on the sidelines for well over a year, the former Olympian returned to the ring earlier this month against McCall Fox, though he found himself at an incredible physical disadvantage, including a 10-inch reach deficit. Kavaliauskas mauled his man, dropping him twice in the third round before cruising to a lopsided unanimous decision victory. While his performance was memorable, Kavaliauskas has established his name following two incredibly competitive bouts against Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Terence Crawford. On both occasions, the Lithuanian native, regardless of his strong start, faltered down the stretch, losing via stoppage in both 8th and 9th rounds, respectively. With both men sporting an undefeated record, Ortiz 19-0 with 19 KOs, and of course Crawford is 38-0 with 28 KOs. He says that I will back Virgil Ortiz. He says, I think he's the winner in that fight. He would beat Terence Crawford. And let me counterpunch. Ortiz has skills. He has he's a very, very busy fighter. He kind of reminds me of a slightly slower but evenly skilled, better chin Amir Khan. That's what he reminds me of, his fighting style. If you look at his fighting style, he's more of that type. He's a sharpshooter. He likes throwing beautiful 1-2s, the jab and the right. He's a combination fighter. He has skills, as we know. But someone like Terence Crawford, would Virgil Ortiz beat Terence Crawford? I think it would last about 8 or 9 rounds if they fought. Does he have a good chance? He has a good chance, but see, someone like Terence Crawford, though, it's a difference between a great fighter and a pretty good fighter, and because Virgil Ortiz is good. He's a good fighter, but I don't think he's a great fighter. And I think, though, he would have to see that he's not by fighting Terence Crawford. Now, I think Terence Crawford will beat Virgil Ortiz. But let's say this conversation that Mean Machine created, let's say it goes into late 23, early 24, mid 24. I'm talking about the years here. What if, and when that happens, Terence Crawford is 35, then 36. Now, see, I don't know how Terence Crawford will really perform at age 36. I don't know. If he will still have the same speed. Will he still be able to beat these guys? Because what I'm saying from Terence Crawford is a fighter that seems to find a way to take you out. Not just beat you off points. Not just outpoint you, not just be the better boxer like someone like Money Mayweather was able to do, beat you round after round after round. No, Terence Crawford has found a way, in the last 13 fights to take out his opponent. Now, that may, in time, go hand in hand with his eventual demise, because the way he fights, he looks for certain angles. He looks for certain shots. He finds holes in the defense of his opponents and he gets them in there, and he's able to exploit those small holes. And that's what makes him special. See, with Ortiz is a very, very high offensive fighter. He is. He throws a lot of punches. He's a busy guy. And a guy that busy will more than likely get knocked out by Terence Crawford because he's giving Crawford too much. Now I understand Kavaliauskas, and it's one thing to be beat by two guys, and then you have this idea. And I respect any fighter that been beat by two guys. I respect what they have to say because they were in there. They suffered those type of defeats and that punishment, and they have the experience of both guys. I get it. I understand Mean Machine. And in Mean Machine, I think he did drop Terence Crawford. I think he did drop him, but, of course, it wasn't official. Just like Zab Judah really dropped Floyd. It wasn't official. You know what I mean? Same difference here. But that's another thing. Like a guy that's barely on the floor or ever been on the floor, he's rumored to be on the floor or whatever. It's debatable or whatnot. But, what happened eventually? Terence Crawford got mad and just mauled him. He mauled the mauler. Mean Machine, he meaned the Mean Machine. He got meaner than his Mean Machine, right? And with Virgil Ortiz beating him, it was a different type of fight. Virgil Ortiz showed that he was strong. He could take those shots from a brute, rugged, brawling guy like Mean Machine, because that's what Mean Machine does. He waits for the counter and he goes in. He's kind of like a very small version of Artur Better Beef, right? And he's durable, but then he's not invincible. And then we saw that. Now, if he was just this strong, invincible guy, like Artur seems to be, and he's not even invincible, but, he's just tough and rugged. But it just shows you that they were able to get the job done. I think Kavaliauskas, though, could have been a lot better with Virgil Ortiz than he was. It's just when Terence Crawford figured him out, it was time to take him out, and he got took out. So Terence is not this aggressive guy, and I think what Mean Machine experienced and what he's gauging Virgil Ortiz's aggressiveness in the way Virgil Ortiz eventually took him out. See, Ortiz went in there, he got caught and he got hurt, but he kept fighting, and him kept fighting and, tightening up on his defense allowed him to land the shots to Kavaliauskas he needed to get out of there. But he did it, with this aggression. With Terence, the aggression was different. Terence used angles, to get him out of there. You know what I mean? But he did make it a semi-brawl. So if he's looking at two guys fighting himself, that's the wrong mindset. You have to look at these guys fighting each other. See, it's one thing to experience, man, I got my ass beat up by Virgil Ortiz, but I got knocked out by a Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? So it was almost like, okay, wow, which one is going to be? Well, if I had to vote based on how they beat me, I'm going to vote for Ortiz. But you guys already know my opinion about Ortiz and Terence Crawford. I think Terence Crawford gets him if they decide to fight. I think that would have probably been the ideal fight for Terence Crawford if he couldn't get Errol Spence. But it is what it is. You guys tell me what you think about Mean Machine thinking that Virgil Ortiz will beat Terence Crawford, of course. Please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!